Hello. Okay, this week we are all about living your values. And you may or may not already be living a values-led life. Lots of people tell me they're leading a values-led life, and then when I ask them what their values are, they can't tell me. So that's not going to be the case for you, is it? Because you're going to be doing this training. Um, what are our values? Well, our values are the aspects of our life that are most important to us, the things that we value. If we're not living in alignment with our values, life will feel very difficult and it will feel like walking through treacle the whole time. Like everything just feels harder than it needs to be. Um, it will lead to dissatisfaction and it's very likely to lead to burnout. And it's one of the reasons I left my last career because when I started really living in my values and recognizing that the values of the organization that I work for weren't aligned with my own values, it became really obvious that something had to give. And if I carried on working in a way that was compromising my personal values, it was going to be me that had to that gave. And I wasn't prepared to let a system break me, so I left that system behind. And then practically and committing to living in alignment with my values hasn't always meant that life is super easy, but it does mean that I've got like that North Star, that guidance that is what I need to be doing. It helps me make all my decisions. So we are going to be helping you make life easier for yourself by being able to live within your own value system. So again, hopefully you're going to enjoy doing this one. So how do you know what your actual values are? It's a tricky one, isn't it? And we might find that we could reel off hundreds of values that are just kind of like typical human values, things that we think good people should value. Um, but can we live by all of those at once? Can we know that we're in alignment with like 30 or 40 different values? Probably not. Or maybe, but we will have to be reflecting on them all the time. So we'll be up in our head all the time. We won't actually be living very much. So we need to be able to prioritize our most important values. Once we know what our most important values are, it becomes really easy for us to live within them or to notice when we're making decisions that aren't in alignment with them, which we may have to do sometimes. Okay, so I'm not saying that you get to live within your values all the time. Sometimes you might have to compromise a little bit, but knowingly makes you the awareness, sorry, and doing it knowingly means that you know where to come back to and why you're feeling compromised if you have to compromise any of your values at any time. So the workbook this week is very, very simple for you. What you're going to do is you're going to learn how to do a values elicitation process. I've given you a big long list of typical people's values of sort of human values, and I've also given you space to write your own. So by all means, think about your own values and don't refer to the list at all if you don't want to. I invite you to make a list of every single thing that is important to you and notice if you're actually putting things down that you think should be important to you, but actually don't make it into your top list. All right. So what you can do is you're going to just keep going. What's important to me? And what else is important to me? And what else is important to me? And what else? And you just keep going, asking yourself what else is important to you until you feel like there's nothing else that's important to you. You write each of these things on a separate sticky note or a piece of paper so that you can move them around. And then once you think you've got all of them out, you move them around and put them in an order, not by what you think, but by how you feel. So the easiest way to do this is to, if you have two alongside each other, and you just think with each pairing, which one of these is more important than the other. And you move the one that is most important up. And then you look at the next pairing and you think, which of these two is the most important to you? And you move it up. Okay, so they're all sort of comparative with each other. And I need you to do this with a judgment-free zone, okay? By thinking, oh, I should put my family at the front. I should put this at the front. I should put that at the front. Well, we're not shoulding over this. We are not allowing should or must to get in the way of what we actually feel. We're not going to intellectualize this process. We're going to feel our way into it. This is how we know it's true and it's really in alignment. Okay. Once you have got to your top three, I want you to stick them up or write them up somewhere that you will see them regularly. I used to have my three values written on sticky notes stuck next to my clock in my office. I used those three values to make every decision that I made in my business and in my life. So the way you use the decision filter is you look at those three values that you've got, and when you need to make a decision, you check in, does this align with value one, my top priority? Yes. Does it also align with value two? Yes. Does it align with value three? Yes. If it's a yes for all three, it's a yes. If it's a no on any of them, it should be a no. Now, while you're getting through this and making changes, it may not always be the case that, if it's a no for one of them, but it's a yes for the other two, you maybe think, okay, I'll do it for now. But be aware of where you are compromising your values. That's why having them written up is so helpful, because you get to refer to them all the time. I now don't need mine written up on the wall next to the clock because they're so embedded in every decision that I make. I know what they are. I feel into them, and I feel very quickly if I'm out of alignment with any of them. So because it becomes part of who you are. Okay. So have fun identifying your values. If you get stuck, shout out for help in the WhatsApp group. We can always sort of have a chat with you, walk you through, or you can bring anything to the next live call if you get stuck or you have any questions. So have fun identifying your values and creating your values decision filter.